Today, we'll be taking a look at how eGain's case-based parallel reasoning capabilities can streamline the user experience while performing a financial checkup with a local bank branch. To demonstrate this, we'll be using the web-based tool that assists branch staff in conducting financial assessments via phone or in person. The tools could also easily be customer-facing through a web portal or virtual assistant. The interaction flow and business rules are the same. All that changes is the user interface. From colors and logos to the questions that are asked, underlying business rules, and screen layout, everything is customizable. In this example, we show 3 panes. The center pane is the guidance area and has information about the question being asked or a takeaway from the previous answer. The leftmost pane contains the next best question to ask, and at the right, we can see both an area for solutions to appear once they are identified and answered questions from previous interactions, back-end system data pulls, or pre-work the customer may have done. For this interaction, we do not want to ask a lot of questions, only to tell the customer what they may already know. Rather, we would like to provide value in the conversation, even if we end up confirming that the customer is already working on the most important things. To accomplish this, we are incorporating public data from the Financial Health Network's Pulse survey, conducted each year with thousands of customers. We are also leveraging select questions from that survey to aid in comparisons, providing a view of how others like me compare in each of the areas we evaluate. Again, this can be completely customized to whatever approach and business rules the organization has. For this scenario, let's choose age bracket and marital status. Here we see the first of the questions, in this case ordered by importance, but can be asked in any order desired and can be left to the tool to determine the next best question to ask. In the center now, we see data from the customer's total deposit balance, something that can be incorporated if our tool is connected to the banking core system or has a data extract. We show this to the banker not to catch the customer with an incorrect answer. Rather, we use this data as a way to confirm what the customer says or make the banker more knowledgeable about the specific aspect of the customer's relationship. For our customer, we will choose the second option, spending a bit less than income, and it is borne out by the data. Before we even ask the next question, we are provided with a graphical representation of how our customer compares to people like him or her. There are only 14% of people who answered something better than what we entered, so our customer feels pretty good. This question deals with paying bills on time, and in the upper right corner we can see that the system is already thinking about a recommendation around organization should the customer have past due payments while spending less than they make. When the customer answers that they have no past due payments, we see that the solution has disappeared. The customer is once again validated as they fall in the top group, comprising 47% of respondents. Now we ask a question about emergency funds, and our customer tells us that they have somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks of expenses saved. As that is well short of the recommended 6 months, we see a recommendation appear in the upper right corner to fortify emergency savings. This is green and has a 100% confidence score, showing the strength behind this recommendation. If the customer wanted to stop here and we clicked the solution, it could guide the interaction further, doing things like calculating how much emergency savings is recommended, presenting ways to save a little more each month to reach that goal, and predicting when the goal would be met. In this case, though, we will proceed to the next question for a more holistic assessment. We ask about longer-term savings like retirement and notice that the previous recommendation has not dropped off. When our customer tells us that they are only somewhat confident that they are saving appropriately for the long term, we see that this is another area for us to work on with the customer with an additional solution in the upper right, backed up by the graph in the center showing that the customer is closer to the median than the top for this answer. As we now choose that existing debt is manageable, we see the system again considering a potential solution around paying down debt, but as the customer does not have any indicators of additional challenges in this area, with no unusual or high-interest debt types, that recommendation will disappear. In this case, we are simulating a connection to the bank's CRM system, where we can gather a recent credit soft pull that the bank routinely performs and only need to confirm that the customer does not believe their credit has changed significantly since last polled. The fair rating here generates a credit score improvement solution of a lower severity than the other two, conveyed through the yellow color and lower confidence score. Completing the last 2 questions in this use case with agreeing that they plan ahead financially and are confident that they have complete insurance coverage, we now see our cart of solutions to work on with the customer. Again, any of these could trigger additional interaction flows around best practices in achieving the identified goals, but this dynamic system can also support any changes the customer might make to their answers. For instance, if the customer remembered their spouse's retirement plan and therefore was more confident in their long-term savings, we see that that solution drops off without having to walk through the rest of the questions as one might have to with a mere decision tree. Streamlining the user experience has never been easier with eGain's case-based parallel reasoning capabilities.